All right. I love this book and how it's comparing Mexico to China. And Mexico is holding up their hands and asking, why aren't we able to compete with China? Around after the 400 mark in this thick book, they're just questioning why Mexico is not as successful as India or China in the industry and education and just the advancements of people, and it really is quite amazing having a country right next to the US with that advantage. You'd think it would be a big boost, but it's not. It's the people, it's the area, and how they organize themselves that really is just a handicap. China has really exploded, and according to this book written in 2004, derail a lot of business that Mexico could have taken up, but instead we found the U.S. found greater value shipping manufacturing jobs to China instead of Mexico, and it's just interesting to see how that developed. They question why that is, and there's some good answers. They're saying that getting Mexican people to work together is like trying to herd cats. But China, they come together with their authoritarian regime a lot better. But also, it's just amazing to me, looking from on a different level beyond economics, looking on the medical level and acupuncture and Chinese medicine, their herbs, their study of herbs, Sun Tzu's Art of War, a lot of their disciplines, at Chinese face reading, a lot of their philosophies are really well thought out. They really spend a lot of time observing. They're curious people. Chinese face reading says they have cat's eyes, the slants. They're curious about everything and learn. And that's not going on in Mexico. Mexico is just holding fiestas and siestas and quinceañeras, and they just want to celebrate and have a good time. Play some Latin music as loud as they can out of their car. I have not heard a single Chinese song played loudly out of a car, but I hear plenty of American rock, American rap, and Mexican music playing out loudly out of cars. You don't hear that Indian music. You don't hear Chinese music. I didn't hear it in California and the strong Chinese districts where they spoke Chinese exclusively. I didn't understand what anybody was saying around me. It's really interesting. I really appreciate what the Chinese have done with medicine, because it's very enlightening to the ailments that I've suffered, and I've been able to find greater help with the advice from Chinese medicine than I have with Western medicine. But what has come out of Mexico? They got the Mexican herbal sections in the grocery stores. All right, they got all these herbs, and that's good. They just they don't explain anything. They have all these herbs available. Some of them are kind of dangerous. You shouldn't be, like arnica tea. That's dangerous, but they're selling it close to the border in Food City at that grocery store, and I think even some Walmarts. They have some Mexican herbs that are they are American. They're like a hybrid American Mexican, but sold through Mexican company, and they're in the cheapest form possible. But you don't hear about Mexican medicine. You don't hear about Mexican psychology, yeah, or anything like that. There's no disciplines that are astute, that are respected. There's no disciplines that are respected that come out of Mexico. None that I know of. I would love to learn about any institutions, any kind of any beliefs or whatever that come out of Mexico. Okay, because I respect a lot of what China's been producing over the course of their many years, with, once again, the acupuncture, with their Chinese face reading, with their Chinese medicine. I respect what they have to offer, the heating and the cooling of foods, and the phytochemicals, and how they interact, and how you should combine certain herbs to get an effect, for a medicinal effect. Poking someone with needles, that's propelled me towards magnet therapy, and I find some relief with magnet therapy. It can't cure everything, but it certainly helps a lot. And what has come out of Mexico, even India, has their certain medicine that's very, very good, in competition with China. The Indian medicine, whatever it's called. There are some disciplines and philosophies that have come out of both China and India that are respected around the world. But what is respected from Mexico? It's those basic orders that serve as a foundation for economic success, I think. And they can't get Mexicans together to compete against China or India. In this book, it's amusing. They say Mexico can't compete against China's manufacturing, labor, and the organization with that. And in turn, Mexico also cannot compete against India and their call centers and the services that are like this, the service jobs, the service industry. They can't compete against India for that, because a lot of call centers have gone to India and not to Mexico. It's just interesting, and it's really being brought to light, and it's just gotten my fires burning a little bit reading this, and I'm like, yes, this is right. As much as there's a lot of portions of this book I disagree with, and I'm like, yes, that is so true. Disciplines are clearly pronounced between Mexico and the East, and the Far East, and China and India. They even said in here, and I really would rather make a book review of this, but it's like, they said, and this is 2004, 50,000 students out of China and India went to college in the U.S. 50,000, whereas only 10,000 came from Mexico. So there's just such a difference. Does that make Mexico bad? That means Mexico, the brain power, it's a little say softened, it's a little tampered down, because maybe they endure other things that require them to slow down. Because I've lived out in Wisconsin, and in very poor conditions, and you got to suppress your thought process to endure. All right, but well, they said China's really been poor for most of the 1900s. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just making a comparison between the basic, like the medicines and stuff, the philosophies that are respected worldwide. What's come out of Mexico that's respected? I would love to learn that.